Hello and welcome back to another video. Today is my 8th month as a quadriplegic. This video is going to be short, sweet, and simple because I've explained this several times, but I am a quadriplegic at the C4, C5, C6, and T1 level, but I mainly sustain damage on my C5 and C6. For those who don't know, there are about 33 vertebrae in the entire spinal cord and one nerve. There's several nerves, but there's one individual nerve in the cervical region. Cervical region is the worst area to get an injury. For cervical, however, it actually is life-changing because cervical is your neck and everything below that gets affected. There are two regions in the neck, the high and the low. The high region consists of the C1, C2, C3, and C4, which I'm in that category just by the C4 bit. So I am the lowest of the high. For the low region of the neck, or the cervical region, it covers from C4, C5, C6, and C8. I, however, do not make up the C7 or the C8 nerve, so I don't make up those regions, but I do make up the C6 and the C5 of the low region. So I'm at the very high range of the low. And normally low quadriplegics in the low region of the cervical region have a bit more chance of recovery, can move their limbs like I can. Like my wife, however, and Big Donnie, they're in the cervical region of the high region. So basically anything from the C4 to C3 up, it just says full paralysis of the arms, meaning you don't have tricep, you don't have bicep, and you can't even move a finger. But there's high chances of recovery, not really. But the high chances are mainly you moving a few fingers, which my wife can only move her thumb. How I sustained my injury, I was at work on February 21st, 2024. So I was at work, and I was carrying this heavy package. I can't remember what time it was, maybe around 9, 10 a.m. So I was carrying this big package, and as I was walking with it, I had somehow tripped, or I twisted my ankle in some sort, or I just dropped the package. When I fell, the package had landed on me, around my neck area, like on top of me, so that really broke my C4, C5, C6, and T1. Because it was a very large and heavy package, not light equipment. So that had basically caused me to have my injury. I was only trached for like 2 or 3 days. So on February 24th, I got rid of my full trach and everything. Thankfully, a very short time trached, but I still have my tracheostomy hole scar, if you can't see. It's gotten very healed though, which is good. So basically, the extent of my injury it's very bad compared to most people because I'm not like a paraplegic. I have no use of my fingers, have no use of my triceps, have no use of my core, have no use of my legs, hence a little slumpy core. See if I raise up in my chair? Those are just my limp core. Another thing that I want to talk about, that big issue that quadriplegics face, are autonomic dyslexia. For those who don't know what that means, autonomic dyslexia is basically a reaction from our central and peripheral nervous system sorry, I was thinking of the word. So, that reaction comes from both of those nervous systems. When you get a spinal cord injury in cervical, in thoracic, from T6, your nerves basically don't want to act right. So, when something is in discomfort below this level of injury, you'll get autonomic dyslexia. Autonomic dyslexia is characterized by headaches, dizziness, fainting, nausea in bad cases. So it's just basically a big reaction that us quadriplegics get, and it can also be life-threatening. Other ways that we can remedy it is by using the bathroom, because that is another reason why we get autonomic dyslexia. If our bladder is too full, we'll get autonomic dyslexia. If we need a weight shift, we'll get autonomic dyslexia. So we can just tip back in our chair, we can do a catheterization, and sometimes it may be just from the heat, because most quadriplegics and some high paraplegics can't sweat very well. So, as in dust on forehead, and nowhere else. So, for me, I can sweat on my face and my forehead. I can't sweat from my neck down, like my chin down. So I can't sweat. Remedy this situation, we have to grab a spray bottle. And you're probably wondering, why a spray bottle? Well, a spray bottle is something that we use to cool us down. It basically works as fake sweat. And we spritz ourselves with the fake sweat or just spray bottle, so we can cool ourselves down to act as a cooling mechanism. Skin will naturally absorb that water to help physically cool us down. And this could be a life-threatening thing. This is not something to take lightly, because overheating in any natural human can cause really big effects. But if you're a quadriplegic or a very high paraplegic who can overheat often, or does overheat in very bad situations, it is important that we do take the fact of this not lightheartedly, and we just go ahead at it. Some of the medical equipment that I use as a quadriplegic are catheters. I explained them before, but catheter is just basically a thin, flexible tube that is put up into your urethra or bladder, and how I know when it reaches the bladder is when pee starts coming out the catheter. My other medical supply is a service dog. He barely, you slumped me down. So, his head is only going to get in frame. So, I use a service dog. His name is Benjamin, and he has been my service dog ever since I got him a little while after my injury, and he mainly aids in grabbing my catheters and grabbing things off the floor, since I don't have adequate finger function, nor tricep function, nor core, so when I go and lean, I just fall. So, the main video was about me being a quadriplegic. I've learned a lot over these past 8 months. It has been a crazy 8 months, trust me, it has. To recap, I got injured in a work-related fall incident on February 21st, 2024. Carrying a big heavy package broke my C4, C5, C6, and T1, but mainly sustained damage on my C5, C6 incompletely, resulting in the function and sensation I have now, which, by the way, my sensation is right at my top armpit, and I can't feel anything from there. So, I need to have people around me who can support me throughout this huge, crazy, long journey. So, I wanted to thank you all so much for watching today's video, and I'll see you next month. Bye-bye.